Have a nice day, everyone. Today we are going to start planning. So, planning is the most important and the vital topic in our management theory. So, today we are going to discuss planning in this video. Now, before starting the planning, I am giving the a question that you can think. Imagine you are planning a road trip. Would you just start a driving without a map? Then, what do business operate without proper planning? This is the thinking part of planning. What is planning? Before reading this definition, let me explain in a simple way. The planning is the process of deciding in advance what to do it, how to do it, when to do it, and who should do it. These four WH questions are actually based on the planning. Now, let me read the definition. So, planning entails thinking, forwarding, and outlining the future steps that will be taken. It is a phase in preparation. It is a methodical process that establishes who will do a given task, when and how. A comprehensive planning outline future action is called planning. Planning takes into account the organization, current and future human resource and physical resource. Now, what is the objective of planning? The objective of planning is very simple. The first objective is to understand the meaning and concept of planning, whatever we already discussed in the definition. To develop familiarity with the various characteristics of planning, we are going to the characteristic planning in the next part. To understand the process of the planning, obviously we'll discuss the process. To develop familiarity with the various types of planning, we obviously will discuss the various type of the planning. To know what exactly are advantages or disadvantages of planning. Obviously, each and everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. To understand the importance of the planning. Obviously, planning has some outputs that we have to follow. Now we are going to discuss characteristics of planning. The first point is planning is goal oriented. What is the meaning of that? Each and every organization has a certain goal and certain objective. For achieve this goal, they need planning. Whatever characteristics over there, the 9 characteristics are not static, they are dynamic and interrelated. Each and every point are related to each other. Like point number 2, planning is looking for the future. I hope you understand that planning are made for future but based on the present and the past behavior of the company. Number 3, planning is the intellectual process. What does it mean? Intellectual means they did some intellect, belief, and intellect thought on the process of planning. Planning involves choice and decision making. It means there are some decision making theories are there to make a planning. So all the organization employees, all the departments are involved for the making a certain plan. Point number 5, planning is a primary function of the management. Like budgeting is a financial thing, like making a planning is a primary function. For making any organization upgraded, they need to make a planning. Point number 6, planning is a continuous process. It's not a dynamic, it's a dynamic process. It's not a static process, and it's a continuous process. It's not stopped in one day for 1 year. They need a planning for 1 day also, 1 hour also, and 1 minute also. That is called the planning. Now, planning is pervasive. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that it is not a self-centered. One person can make a planning. It needs all the department, all the management teams, all the employees who are actually have a intellectual value to the company. They are making the planning. Planning is designed for the efficiency. What does it mean? Efficiency means to make the company output better. So for that reason, whatever previous experience happened, according to that, how to overcome the difficulties, planning is that. Planning is designed for the efficiency. Now last point, whatever I told in the past, each and every point is interrelated. Planning is flexible. It's a dynamic process. if we need to change after 1 day of a foolproof planning, they need to change. It's not that if the plan is fixed, there is stamp out there, we can't move, we can't change the plan, we can't move with this plan, we have to move and we have to change the plan according to the situation. Now we are going to start about the steps of planning. Whatever we discussed first, planning is the flexible, planning is the dynamic thing. So, but we have to follow some process of the planning. Like first one, we have to establishment of objective. That means we have to set the goal. Now, established of planning premises. That means you have to analyze the environment depending on the past and the previous situation of the company. Then another important part is choice alternative course of action. You have to find some alternative of planning. The fourth one, you have to formulation or derive the planning. That means you have to implement the planning according from the these choices. Securing cooperation, we have to implement the plan and we have to cooperate to make the successful of the planning. The last point, we can say the follow up and appraisal. Appraisal means you need to change according to the situation. That is called the appraisal of planning, or you can adjust as needed of the planning. You have to monitor the whatever is going. That is the steps of the planning. Now we are going to start the advantages of the planning. Okay, so first one is the management by objective. What does it mean? The planning has the objective by the management that you have to follow. There are various advantages there, like minimizing the uncertainties. Planning improves the employee's model, is facilitated coordination, achieving economics, that means the financial goal, facilitating controlling. Planning makes the situation under control. It's the competitive edge and encourage innovation. That means if you have the planning, the employees are doing their job according to the planning, they can implement their innovation inside their project. Now we are going to discuss disadvantage. There are sometimes it's very time consuming, it's costly. Now third one, it's don't have a guarantee of success, and sometimes it has a less creativity. So these are the few disadvantage of the planning, but without planning a company can't move. So we have to say according to the disadvantage, we have to focus on the advantage of the planning. Now we are going to the types of planning. There are various types of the planning: objective, strategy, policy, project, procedures, budget, forecast, schedule, programs, and rules. So, first of all, we are concentrated on the objective. What is objective? So, managers are required to be set both general and the specific objective. Specific objectives includes the goal set of various department, division, groups, and individuals. The general objectives are long-term in nature, but the specific objective are the short-term in nature. Basically, objective gives direction to human behavior and effort. Now, the next one is the strategy. Strategy is a pattern or plan that involves matching organization competence, maybe it's the internal resources and the skills, with the opportunity and the risk created by the environmental changes. Effective formal strategies contains three elements. First one, the most important goals. Second one, the most significant policies. And third one, the major program. Strategies deal with the unpredictable and unknowable things. Now, third one is the policy. Policy is a general statement that guides thinking, action, decision making of manager for the successful achievement of organizational objectives. Policies define the limits within which decisions are to be made. Next type of planning is project. A project is simply a cluster of activities that is relatively separated and clear cut. Single step in a program is set up as project. Okay, so project, like, as a part of the programs, like a building hospital, design new package, building new plant, is some example of the project. Now next one is the procedure. Procedure prescribes the sequence of steps that must be completed in order to achieve a specific purpose. A procedure is a guide to action rather than to thinking. It details the exact manner in which a certain activity must be accomplished. It isn't in the chronological sequence of required action or steps. A procedure is generally established for the repetitively activity so that the same steps are followed each time when the activity is performed. Now the next one is the budget. Budget is not already related to the financial purpose. So budget is a statement or a plan to expected result expressed in numerical terms, such as man hours, unit of production, machine hours, amount of expenditure, or any other quality measured term. So that is budget plan in planning. The, the next step is forecasting. What is forecasting? Forecasting is a planning. Please suppose forecasting the former is defined as the deciding what to be done in future. Okay, there are various type of forecasting: annual, long term, short term forecastings are there. Now next one is the schedule. What is schedule? A schedule is an operational plan, timetable of work that specified time periods within the beginning and the completion time points, within which activity or activities are to be accomplished. In order to keep schedule realistic and the flexible, minimum and maximum time period may be specified. Three main elements involved in the planning schedule: identification of activities or tasks, determination of their sequence, and specification of starting and the finishing dates of each and every activity, as well as the text sequence as a whole. That is the schedule of the planning. Next one is the programs. A program lays down the principal steps for accomplishing a mission and sets an approximate time for carrying out each step. That is called the program. Now last one is the rules. So what is a rule? Like a procedure, a rule is a guide to action, but it does not lay down any sequence or step as the case of the procedure. So rule is make whatever, if whenever rule is needed, so you have to follow this particular rule. Now, not last but not the least, this is a various example of planning, like strategic planning. Example is Apple. The tactical planning, the Nike's marketing team. The contingency planning, this is Amazon. We're actually preparing for the warehouse disruption and natural disaster. And the operational planning is a MACD. These are the various example of the planning. You can read it out at your own. So thank you everyone for watching this video.